Hi. Hello. Hi. Hey everyone. I'm just waiting for the others to come up. I'm sorry about the lighting in here. I got really hot, so I have to turn the lights off. It's a little darker than usual. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Charlie. In case you don't know me, online I'm the Ginger Teacher, and I'm here online. I do these lives to talk about different things about being in the classroom, about how to help teachers, things like that. Until recently, or not that recently anymore, before COVID, I was a classroom teacher, I was a supply teacher. I used to go to lots of different schools, lots of different classrooms and teach. And since then, I've been teaching online. I make resources for other teachers to help them teach and to make life easier for them. And I have a real interest in escape rooms. So I also run the Teacher Escape Rooms membership. Sorry about that. There we go. The Teacher Escape Rooms membership, which my members get access to all my games, and I teach them how to make their own games. So I'm busy. I do a lot. Sorry, just a bit of faffing about to try and get everything right before we actually get started. So first of all, if you could comment on the video, tell me who you are, where you're from. That would be great so that I can get a bit more idea of the people that are watching. If you're watching this on the replay, still comment, but please put hashtag replay so that I know that you are there. Okay, right. So first of all, that's me. What are we going to talk about today? Well, today I talk an awful lot. People, especially people in my membership, know that I talk a lot. I do talk a lot, but I talk a lot about gamification and how it's used in the classroom. And I focus a lot, because of my experience making escape rooms, I focus a lot on how to make and use escape rooms. But that's not the only part of gamification. So today I wanted to talk a little bit more about how to create other types of gamification in your classroom and how it can be useful. And in particular, I'm going to talk about classroom economy and how you can use a classroom economy to really help your behaviour control, it helps with behaviour systems, it helps with collaboration between your students, like team building and things like that. It's great for competitiveness, which is actually not something we want to get rid of. I know that it's quite popular at the minute to get rid of competitive feelings, but they're actually really useful if used properly. And a sense of classroom community as well. So classroom economy is a huge encompassing thing that really, really helps to get used to this kind of world, if you like. Okay, so well, what we're going to do is we are going to start with tracking, how you're going to track, how you actually set it up. We're going to discuss some ideas for the economy, what you could use, things like that. We'll talk about the currency and the rewards that you can do. Now, I know all of that might be a bit confusing if you've classroom economy before, but once I start talking, hopefully it should be making sense. Let's hope. Now, two things. Firstly, I wave my arms around a lot. Sorry if I do that. It can be quite distracting for some people, I know. And secondly, I talk very, very fast. So you might have to watch this video again if you miss things, because sometimes I'm... Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what a classroom economy actually means. What is it? Well, it's a bit like a shop, if you like. They earn a certain amount of coins, or they earn rewards, or they earn tokens, or something they earn, and then they get those, they save them in a way. We'll talk about how you would record that saving in a moment, and then they use that to buy things later. So the things don't need to be real physical things that you spend your money on. I think a lot of teachers, especially new teachers, do this a lot, where they think they have to buy things for their class all the time. And this is fed into by Pinterest and lots of online, Instagram itself, where teachers see other things being brought for students and they feel like they have to do that kind of thing, but you don't. And I'm going to talk about the different ways that you can reward your students, particularly in a classroom economy, without spending any money at all. You don't need to buy things for your students. Teachers are poor. So there's that. So yeah, so you need to think about it as a shop. They earn rewards, they earn money, they earn merits or whatever, and then they spend them to get other things. It's quite simple, and that's why it's an economy. So that's what it is. So why do we do this? Why do we do this? Well, the main reason we do this is because if children feel like they're in control of the systems around them, they're more willing to learn, they have better relationships with their teachers and their peers. They are also really in tune to how things are progressing for themselves. So if they're earning a lot of points or a lot of merits, they are starting to understand how they have control and they have a place within the classroom economy, the classroom system and community, which is a really big deal for children, especially when they're feeling out of their depth, out of control, they have no solid structure around. This makes a big improvement to their personal feelings and their life. So that is the why of classroom economy. So let's get into the big scary part, the how. Well, it might sound like a huge thing. It might sound like this impossible mountain that you need to climb, and you think, I couldn't ever set up that kind of I can't. Sorry, I'm getting comments and I can't read them. It might sound like you're getting this huge thing that you can't get to, but it's not. So you want to start off simply, and you start off by thinking about the name of your economy. Now, I know that sounds like a very surface level, unimportant thing, but it's really not, because I didn't freeze then. I was trying to read comments I'm on 3 different platforms. Sorry. I'll stop doing that. So the name of your classroom economy will help your students to understand the way that it moves. Because if you're calling it just a shop, for example, it will tell them that the shop is they get things like money and they spend it. And that gives them a very clear view of what it is. Or you might call it something like a collaboration, and then they're going to understand that they need to collect the money. They might collect money from their peers as well, which we'll talk about how they can do that. They can join the money together and they can spend it on bigger things. So talk to your students, get them involved and explain what you want to do, ask what you want them to call it, start there. The second thing that you need to think about, and this one is quite tricky, is the tracking of the money or the merits or whatever it is you're going to use. That's another thing you need to decide. You need to decide if it's going to be merits, if it's going to be coins. I've used raffle tickets in the past. It's entirely up to you what you use to be your currency. It doesn't really matter as long as it's something. Now, tracking is really, really straightforward. In the past, I've used just an Excel spreadsheet with all the students' names down one side, and then next to that, how many coins they have. It's as simple as that. If you want to get more technical, you can create things online. There's all different websites. I'll put some in the link later in the chat later. But it really doesn't need to be complicated. You just need a way to keep track of how many coins or how many merits your students have. If you want to, you could even just get a book and just write in the book and cross out or rub out their last amount and add more in. A really nice way to track how much students have, depending on your class, some people get too competitive or they get upset about this kind of thing, but you can have a display where their total is kept. This is really nice because it allows the children to see how they're progressing, and it also sees who they might want to team up with if they're going to pool their resources. I hope all this makes sense. If it doesn't, please comment and ask any questions. I'm not going to answer them right now, as I just discovered a minute ago. I'm terrible at reading comments whilst doing lives. So, but I will at the end. Okay, so that's your tracking. You need to start with that. You need a name and you need your tracking. Once you've done those two, have a think about what you will let the class buy. So they will get their coins for behaviour or work. We'll go into that in a moment. What will they buy with this money? Now, again, you don't have to spend your own money on the class. I know it can be really tempting. I did it myself as a teacher. You look at all these things, you buy presents for them, you buy things to try and get them to behave, you buy things for them. But teachers don't need to do this. There's many, many things you can do that are free. So you can let them swap seats. And obviously, a lot of these things depend on the age of the children, but if they swap seats, they are more in control of it. They might want to sit next to their friend, and it's free. You can let them change their name in the register. Now, this is one that I thought was a bit silly, but it's actually huge. Kids love it. They get to be called something else for the day. Now, one that, of course, again, depending completely on your class, because we don't want this getting out of hand and the kids being a bit ganging up, but you can change somebody else's name within reason. It has to be pre-approved by the teacher. If they've got enough coins or enough merits together, they can spend it on changing one of the other kids' names. That's a really good idea. Now, this is where the collaboration thing comes in. A group might get together and have a group name. You can allow the kids to be this group, and they can be that group, and they can even change that group's name. Again, you have to just think about the type of children you have got. If they're not very friendly, it might not be an ideal situation. But all these types of things don't cost money. You can have the children buy, with their merits, music that you enter at the beginning of the day, or you leave at the end of the day, or even in transition time, they can pick the music that's played. All of these sorts of things. So that's the type of thing they buy. So we've covered how you're going to track the currency, what they're going to get for their currency. So we need to think about how they would earn this currency. Now, the logical, most popular one would obviously be that they get coins on merits for good behaviour, which is great. That's fine. Good behaviour. It's not the only way to go, though, because you can also give them merits or coins or whatever your currency is for hard work. Now, this one, you have to be careful because you don't want to give it just for grades, because that creates this system of people feeling, or children feeling, that they're not doing well enough, not only by not getting the grade, but also by not getting the coin. So you might want to do it for the effort that they've put in, which is a whole other subjective thing. And it's also a really nice thing to do. If you feel like one of the kids or two of the kids are falling behind, you can give them a job to do, a classroom job or something like that. And the effort that they put into that earns them a reward. You're giving them a chance to get this the same as their peers. So this kind of chance to earn it and then spend it on something else, it's really, really helpful. Okay, I know I speak really, really quickly, so I'm sorry about that. And I know that I'm running slightly out of time, but I will answer some questions if you put questions in the comment. Remember, if you are watching on the replay, please put #replay so that I can see that you've come along later. I'll do another live very soon about more things that you can use for them to buy in the shops, if that's something that people are interested in, because I have many, many different ideas about the different things that you could buy if you wanted to. There were just a few there. So I will do another live on that. And that's it. If you're thinking about having a classroom economy or a classroom shop, please comment, let me know. I'd love to know how it goes. If you would like a more detailed breakdown of how to do this, I've got a free guide, which you can get at free.thegingerteacher.com. I will put the link in the chat for that as well. And that will walk you through step by step. It's a PDF, and you can see how to actually start with this and set all of this up. Okay, thank you for listening to me for the very, very quick quarter of an hour that I'm just about to run out of time on. And I hope that I will see you guys all soon. Bye.